Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Fox Talks. And this podcast is going to be about Hacking 101, a bootcamp that is going to be launched by Joseph. This is Tarak. I work as a security consultant at Redfox Security, and with me I have Joseph. Could you please introduce yourself to the audience and let them know about the basic overview of this
Yes.
podcast?
So, hi everyone, myself Joseph. I work as a security consultant at Redfox Security, mostly dealing with application security and red teaming aspect of things. So, in today's podcast, we will be talking about Hacking 101 Bootcamp that we will be taking on October 4th. Yeah. The brief overview about this course is basically this is for the like those who are trying to get into cybersecurity. It is an introductory course for them. We'll cover mostly about the networking concepts, basics of networking, basics of operating system, cryptography. We'll be dealing with the tools that we regularly use on daily basis when it comes to cybersecurity, like Nessus, Nmap, what do you say? Burp suit and other things. So these are the things that we are going to be covering, and we are going to be talking about basically how the hacking 101 course is structured around, and what are the questions that you might have, the common questions that you guys might have. So yeah.
Amazing. So, there is always a question from the audience that
Yeah.
before we launch a bootcamp into the market, what kind of course content are they expecting? Could you
Yeah.
give a general idea about it?
Sure. So basically, whenever we are talking about, first let's talk about who are these particular courses tailored around. So for the people who are trying to get into cybersecurity, learning about basic concepts of cybersecurity, trying to understand what this cybersecurity space is, so we are providing this course for them. It is mostly for the beginners who are trying to get into cybersecurity and learning about the offensive security part of things. Basically, mostly tailored around offensive security. We'll be discussing about the other aspects as well, but that will not be on a practical basis. We'll be talking about blue teaming and other aspects of cybersecurity like GRC and all, but that will not include the practical part of that content. Mostly the practical part in this particular course is tailored around how do we approach a network, how do we approach a web application. We'll learn about the methodology. We'll also learn about, we'll start with the fundamentals basically, learn about networking fundamentals, web fundamentals, and everything. Once we are done with that, we'll learn the practical approach that we typically use to navigate a particular network, website, and get an access to a system.
Great.
Once we are done with that, we'll learn about the common tools that we typically use for VA. Basically, we use Nessus for VA scanning and all. So we have a module tailored around Nessus so that you understand the process, how we go about doing a network scan of the current environment, right? When we have the Nessus tool available, how do we do that in a case where there is no automation tools that can be used like Nessus? How do we approach a network? How do we find the common weaknesses in a particular network environment that is accessible to you? And and how do we escalate from there? Yeah, so basically we are talking about the complete hacker methodology from the basics to a place where you understand at least the fundamentals or how each and everything works. Yeah, so that is what we are targeting with this course.
Amazing. Also, I would like to ask you one question
Yeah.
that Joseph, since there are a lot of things that you really mentioned, and it might be that our viewers
Yeah.
might not follow up with every single thing that you laid down. So, in case you did not follow up with Joseph, everything right from the course overview and things to be expected are laid down on our academy page, that is
True.
academy.redfox.com.
Yeah.
And now the question goes to you. I mean, this one is my personal favorite
Yeah.
because also this is very generic, which normal people will ask. Likewise, how does your bootcamp differ from the other online hacking courses that are available in the market?
Yeah. So when I initially started out in cybersecurity, most of the courses tailored around for the new people or the new incoming people was tailored around basically most of the theory aspect of things, right? And I do understand that understanding theory and getting to know about that particular technology is really important, but we could actually inculcate practical aspect of things as well, so that is what we are trying to achieve with this course. We are trying to learn in a practical way. We'll also be covering theory, of course, but it will be mostly like wherever there can be a practical possible, we are trying to include that into this mix, so that even the newbies or the people who are trying to get into cybersecurity not only know the theory but also the practical approach that we usually take when it comes to hacking, or you could say ethical hacking. Yeah.
Amazing. Also, Joseph, likewise, there are a lot of things that you're going to cover. So,
Yeah.
what tools and platforms exactly are the students who are enrolled in your course going to get a hands-on training with?
Yeah. So, the platforms as in, so we will be providing a lab environment specifically tailored to the course. So basically, the we I think what I am trying to do over here is a story mode, not a story mode, but a flow of how an actual attacker approaches a system. So basically, when we talk about an external pen test standpoint, what we typically do is there are certain services that is accessible to public, right? And that can be, so we will be looking at how assets of these assets can be enumerated, understand how what are the hackers methodology and the pen test methodology, basically going behind accessing a particular external resource, finding out the weaknesses in that, figuring out how can we exploit that, and creating an exploit for that, exploiting it. Once you have an exploit, what should you do next? So we will be talking about each and everything in this particular course. So, regarding the lab environment, it is mostly about getting practical hands-on from an external network standpoint. We'll be learning about web application as well. We'll also be having a web part in that particular lab environment, in which you will have to compromise the web. Then you might get an initial access, something like that. Um, yeah, and once you do have access to that, how do we actually perform some sort of RCE to get into the system? And once you get into the system, what are the next things that you go about? So that is what I am trying to do with this particular course, like entire pen test methodology from an external standpoint. How do we enumerate the assets? How do we approach these particular assets? What are the things that we typically go for? Obviously we'll be covering the basics part as well, but this is when we talk about the lab environment, this is what we are trying to do. We'll be looking at common ports and other services that will be publicly accessible. We'll try to exploit that and get into the system. Yeah. So yeah, that is what we are trying and targeting from this. Yeah.
Amazing. And also, the students that are expected to be enrolled in your bootcamp,
Yeah.
what specific roles can they take over in the market?
So yeah, this is mostly tailored around initial like those who are trying to get into cybersecurity. So mostly associate roles, intern roles. So this course will basically cover what an attacker can do with an external access point, right? That is what we are trying to simulate. So they will obviously need to build on top of this. This is just a fundamental course. So basically you will understand how these things work and what should your methodology be, but getting the hands-on practice is the most important thing. So once you have access to this particular lab, you practice on it with the tool sets that you have. But I think what each and every people lack is basically the hands-on approach. So basically the only time you will be doing a practical scenario should not be the lab environment that we provide, right? You should be able to assess and understand a lot of different types of environments. So there might be some ports that are currently available in the current lab environment, but it might be the case that in a different network environment, it might be that there are some other services that are open, and you will have to exploit that and get access to that. So over here, the most important thing is to get hands-on, more and more hands-on, get an understanding about how these particular infrastructure or assets look like, what are the common services, um, what are the common exploits against them, how do we understand and create your path from an external standpoint to getting an access to a system. So getting hands-on practice is really important. So you could use platforms like tryhackme, hack the box to get additional information and understanding of the systems, uh, so that your methodology is a overall complete way. Yeah, so you can build. So there is no specific cybersecurity course which covers every aspect of cybersecurity, but the approach, what we are trying to do is we are trying to make the learning as easy as possible. We are trying to culminate, bring together a lot of resources so that you can learn from a specific place, uh, so that you do not waste time around it, like figuring out what resources should you look for, what should your learning methodology be, what should you learn first, what should you learn next. Because in current space, what I have seen people struggle with is there is a lot of resources, but they are not able to understand where should they start, and there is a constant question, what is the best resource out there, right? So instead of doing that, what we are trying to do is we are trying to put everything together, understand, take everything, a step by step process, in a step by step process, so that other people or the people who are trying to get into cybersecurity has a easier path towards it. Yeah. So that is what we are trying to do. Yeah.
Okay, so Joseph, there are a lot of courses, and I have specifically received a lot of complaints where there are students who want an active support system
Yeah.
during and after the course.
Yeah.
So, is there something like that is going to be provided in your bootcamp?
Yeah. So when we talk about any bootcamp, when it comes to Redfox security, we do have a community, active community of professionals as well as individuals who are enrolled to the bootcamp. We have access to that. So if you do have any queries, or if you need a particular resource that you are looking to learn into or get to know better, so you could just ask your query in the Discord channel or the bootcamp specific WhatsApp group that you might be enrolled into. So once you are you ask your queries, our consultants and other people who are already into this industry and who does know what these particular things are, or uh, what your queries might be, we will be trying on solving that. Yeah. So we'll have a support system of the consultants that are in Redfox security, as well as other people who are enrolled in our active community. Yeah.
All right, amazing. And also, likewise, if someone wants to really enroll in your bootcamp,
Yeah.
how do they actually do it?
So when we so it's the process is really easy. You have to just visit the webpage of academy.redfoxic.com. You could just navigate to the courses section, in which you could just click on the Hacking 101 bootcamp, and then you could just click the button and just enroll in the bootcamp. Yeah. So it's easier process, but yeah, it's this particular, just giving a heads up on this particular course. It is mostly tailored for the newcomers. It's not for someone who has already experience in this particular industry. You might be from a different aspect, you might be from a different sector of cybersecurity. That also works. Like for example, if you are in GRC and if you are trying to get into offensive part of things, or offensive security, or learning about networking and web application security, so this is an introductory course for them, tailored around this particular offensive part of cybersecurity. Yeah.
Okay, so likewise, in summary, it's like a complete action-packed
Yeah.
foundational course
Yes.
covering a lot of aspects of cybersecurity, which
Yes.
will help your students, choose a path from all of the scope provided,
Yeah.
and then traverse into that
Sure.
career path
Right.
directly.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. So, Joseph, before I would like close the podcast, are there any closing remarks from your side?
So basically, if you do have any queries, do reach out us on our WhatsApp channel. Yeah, and if you do if you would like to ask many more questions, you could just DM us, or you could just send a mail on training at the rate redfoxic.com. We would be really excited to hear from you guys, and we could have some other Q&A sessions regarding this particular bootcamp, according to your questions. Yeah.
Definitely. So, without any further ado, I would like to close the podcast.
Yeah.
Again, it's on 4th of October and it is going to be led by Joseph Simon. So,
Yeah.
be ready for it. In case you want to know more details about it, you can check it on academy.redfoxic.com.
Sure.
Now, there are a fair amount of audience that already know us through meetups, through different events that recently happened. But in case you don't know what Redfox is about and you are new to this channel, At Redfox Security, provide end-to-end client penetration tests ranging in fields like Active Directory, web applications, mobile applications, and a lot more. This is more about the services part. So if you want to check it out, that is on our website. That is https://redfoxsec.com. Apart from this, we have an educational platform named as academy.redfoxsec.com, where we deliver courses, boot camps, blogs, and all of the educational and learning content. Apart from this, as you can see, we are right now doing a podcast. That is our YouTube channel, Red Fox Security. If you want to check out something in the regional language, we have Red Fox Security Bharat. That being said, we will see you in the next one.